there is one specific thing about why short stories beat data, the neuroscience that makes ideas stick, that rarely makes it into the version you usually hear. Imagine sitting in a crowded auditorium, the lights dim, and a speaker walks up to the podium. They introduce their topic with an impressive statistic: 65% of us are visual learners. Right away, you can feel the audience's attention shift. But here's the twist. When that same speaker begins sharing a personal story, suddenly everyone is leaning in, eyes wide, hanging on each word. This isn't just a classroom, it's a testament to the power of storytelling, a force so compelling that it can overshadow even the most impressive data. Neuroscientists have drilled down into why this happens. Our brains are wired for narratives. When we hear a story, our brains activate in ways that numbers and charts simply don't. We engage more emotionally. A well-crafted story can trigger dopamine, the same chemical associated with pleasure and reward, enhancing memory retention. Data? It's more like a distant echo, struggling to resonate. Think of the last time you heard a captivating tale over a bland PowerPoint presentation. If you're like most people, the story lingered long after the meeting ended, while the facts faded into oblivion. This is happening now more than ever. In an age of information overload, where data is coming at us from every angle, social media, news outlets, even casual chats, our brains have developed a filter. We sift through mountains of data, discarding most of it unless it's wrapped in a narrative that connects with us. Let's consider Malala Yousafzai. In 2012, she was targeted by the Taliban for advocating girls' education. Her story grips us not just because of the raw data around girls' education rights. It's the human element, a young girl with dreams, fighting against overwhelming odds, risking her life for what she believes in. That narrative echoes through our minds, inspiring action and advocacy around the world. The statistics of her story, how many girls are denied education, the number who drop out, are powerful, but they're background music to the symphony of her life experience. Now, let's talk about the science. Research shows that stories activate multiple areas of our brain, including regions involved in movement, touch, and emotion. When you hear "the boy ran through the rain," your brain doesn't just process that as words, it sets off a cascade of visualizations and emotional responses. You're not just hearing, you're experiencing. Contrast that with a statistic like 30% of children walk to school in the rain. You might acknowledge it, but your brain doesn't engage in the same rich, immersive way. This phenomenon is why educators are increasingly turning to storytelling to teach complex subjects. In medical schools, for instance, future doctors learn better through patient narratives rather than mere clinical data. When they hear about a patient's struggle with a chronic illness, they understand the human condition behind the statistics. The facts gain context and meaning, transforming them from abstract numbers into life and death stories. Brands have picked up on this too. Take Nike, for example. Their advertising isn't just about selling shoes, it's about the stories of athletes overcoming adversity, pushing boundaries, and achieving greatness. Every commercial captures a moment of struggle. Each story resonates, making consumers feel a connection that mere pricing or features never could. Nike knows that when people relate to a story, they're much more likely to buy in, literally and figuratively. Of course, storytelling isn't just limited to marketing or education. It's infiltrating workplaces as well. Organizations are using story to foster strong cultures, engaging employees by sharing the narratives behind the company's mission. Leaders who can articulate a compelling narrative about their brand's journey inspire loyalty and commitment. Employees are more likely to rally around a vision when it's presented through a story that speaks to their values and aspirations. So why is this momentum growing? As we face a barrage of information online, the noise gets louder. Our focus is shrinking. Social media platforms thrive on stories. Instagram has its stories feature. TikTok is built entirely around short, engaging clips that tell a story in seconds. People crave connection, even through a screen. The individual narratives shared through these platforms resonate with us. They're relatable and humanizing. In a world that often feels disconnected, stories bridge that gap. As we continue to shift toward brevity in communication, thanks to platforms like Twitter and Snapchat, short stories become more relevant than ever. Who has the time or attention span for lengthy reports? The swift pace of modern life demands that we distill meaningful messages into digestible bites. Short stories fit the bill perfectly, allowing us to connect quickly and effectively. But let's not fool ourselves. Not every short story is effective. There's an art to it. It's about crafting a narrative that has a clear emotional arc, relatable characters, and a lesson or takeaway. Think of the great short story writers like Raymond Carver or Alice Munro. They masterfully tap into the human experience, creating moments that resonate long after the last sentence is read. In just a few paragraphs, they can convey profound truths that linger in our minds, often more than extensive research papers ever could. So what's the takeaway? The next time you're faced with data, whether you're presenting in a meeting, writing an article, or even discussing a concept with a friend, ask yourself how you can wrap that data in a story. Give it a heartbeat. Create emotion. If you can evoke laughter, tears, or even curiosity, you're already halfway to making those numbers stick. The world of storytelling is vast and impactful. It invites us to listen, to empathize, and ultimately, to act. In a landscape flooded with numbers and charts, the stories will rise above. They're the lifeblood of human connection, our way of understanding each other. Imagine what we could achieve if we embraced storytelling as a tool in every aspect of our lives. Now that's a narrative worth sharing.